Go.
Hey everybody from Produced Hangouts. Today we are joined by Ronnie Benser, one of our moderators, myself, Josh Swindle, and Tom Chafer. And we're going to be going over the topic of business hangouts today. And Ronnie, since you're a little more educated with this, I'm going to let you kind of get the ball rolling here.
You bet. This is a tool that's available for all of us that use Hangouts. And Darius, could you put me in the main box? Or I could do it.
You are
right?
on live, and you can do it yourself.
I'll just do it myself because there we go. Now I can see it at least. There's a lot of neat things here, but before we get too far into it, this is a unique tool in a sense that it uses the Google Hangout interface, but adds a whole boatload of extra features to that Hangout interface. And because of that, you have to understand a little bit about how to use Hangouts, and then secondarily, you'll need to want to learn about what this tool does, and I will help you with some of that, but the creator of the tool, I'd like to introduce him and let him run a little bit about what's going on. His name is Darius, and he is ready to go. Darius.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Josh. Glad to be here. I'm going to show you a few slides presenting what we do and how we do it, and I would really welcome questions and comments by Ronnie, Josh, and Tom. Feel free to interrupt me if needed, or keep them for at the end of my presentation as you wish. So right now I'm going to share my screen, and you're invited to use that one single window, the empty square, if you are not already, so that you see it in a large screen or larger screen. So
yeah, let me clarify that while you have your screen share up there for a second. When we're inside the Hangout interface using the Business Hangout tool, we have the ability to see different things. So instead of just what you're seeing on the outside as one stream of a video, on the inside we see a 4-quadrant. We see a map, we see the main stream on the upper left, the maps below it. We see a big room where there's the visuals, a 3D representation of us in the room, and then there's a branded graphic above that. That can all be turned into the normal thing if you're used to Hangouts with one click. Above there's a empty box, and then next to it there's a box with a 4 quadrants. If you click on the empty box, then it turned into one screen, what you're probably used to if you're used to Hangouts. Okay, so back to you, Darius, your screen share.
All right, thank you for this precision. Business Hangouts is about bringing Google Hangouts to the businesses and to the enterprise. So a more enterprise-friendly, business-friendly app similar to webinars and video conferencing, enterprise video conferencing platforms. A few words about the company. We're based in Irvine, California, with offices in Paris, France, in business since 11 years, and focused on the area of visual live collaboration technologies used for virtual events, conferences, trade shows, and so on. We have customers in the government and defense space, in education, and some Fortune 500 companies using our existing platform, 3D virtual events, and now this additional business hangouts as we are in a soft launch period these days. This slide is a comparison between well-known, established webinar-type platforms compared to Google Hangouts and what the app adds on top of Google Hangouts. According to several criteria, and this is sourced from Wikipedia and vendors' websites. It's not supposed to be a full, complete picture, but just some areas which are interesting to notice. Maximum number of attendees are typically limited to 1,000 or a few thousand. as you know, with Google Plus and now Business Hangouts on top of it, there's literally no limitation. You have seen Hangouts with millions of users. The number of video streams, as you know, you have up to 10, and if you have an enterprise account, 15 streams, all HD, possible with this platform. Typical web conferencing solutions have 1 or 2 streams, some 6 or 7. One of the most important breakthrough, thanks to Google environment, is the apps and the API environment they have made available to developers like us, where none of other existing platforms offers anything closed or anything at all in that area. That's how we have developed Business Hangouts, and that's how we can combine Business Hangouts with other apps like Hangout Toolbox or Screen Share that we are using. So there's a full ecosystem being built in the Google Plus Hangout environment, and we are part of it. And finally, the economic aspect. None of the traditional platforms offer a all-time free solution. We do offer that for less than 20 users, and even for larger events, our platform is much more affordable than existing platforms. Thanks to Google Hangouts, as you know, there are iOS and Android versions available. The geolocation is a nice feature which shows where we are connecting from, if that's allowed in your browser, if you switch it on, turn it on. We saw right before this, and we can actually see it again in a second, where we are connected from. Another nice feature is creating a sense of presence thanks to the avatars in a 3D room, where they can raise hand and ask questions, and gives a sense of the space and sense of presence. And you can combine Business Hangouts with our existing 3D virtual events platform in order to really build virtual events where you have keynote speakers in a Hangout or breakout sessions in a Hangout, and then have a lobby or an exhibit hall in 3D with more visually appealing branding and an environment where the avatars can walk and see, watch videos, click on links, have a more virtual reality type environment. This slide is a little bit small, sorry for that, texts are small, but basically these are our plans, subscription plans. The free plan offers the very interesting and comprehensive event planner, which is a product by itself, which allows you to set up your meeting, your Hangout. It includes a unified chat that we have on the right panel for the participants.
Darius?
Yes.
Darius, let me explain what those are, because those are incredibly powerful features, and the fact that part of the free, I think, is really helpful for people to know.
Sure.
One of the biggest issues that people have with Hangouts in general is discoverability. How do I know where to go to find the thing, and when's it going to happen? The fact that we've got built in this event planner, it will automatically let people register, and then they will be sent emails telling them where to go and when to go, and there'll be reminder emails. So that is built in, and that's part of the free thing. There's also this unified chat, which is incredibly powerful, because what that means is not only is the window down on the bottom these little videos, but you've also got people that can come from LinkedIn and from Facebook as well as Google Plus, and all join into this thing together without having to have a Google Plus account. So this allows people in the Hangout world to reach out beyond Google Plus, which is very, very valuable. And that, again, is part of the free thing. So everybody needs to, that's why I want to make sure they realize what we were talking about here.
Yeah, I've got to say, I think that's really powerful too. The fact that the outreach, because one of the biggest complaints that I get when I'm talking to people about Google Plus is, well, I don't know anybody that's on Google Plus. So how do I, how do I utilize this tool of this hugely accessible tool of a Hangout that nobody's on as far as they're concerned. Now, Ronnie, you and I and Tom,
We know
we
that
all
there's
know
plenty
that.
of people here, but
Yeah,
that's not
yeah,
necessarily our target audience.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the way they see it though. And so,
Right.
when we talk to them, I think this to me is a game changer for Hangouts in that you're really allowing people that aren't connected
Sorry
to
about that.
connected to Google Plus an opportunity to experience Hangouts and what they're really capable of.
Yeah,
So,
and Darius will show this in a moment when he does some screenshots, but the people that are on the inside of this visual environment see the chat from everybody, whether they're from Facebook or from LinkedIn or Google Plus. They're all chatting together, including the people that are inside the film strip, which is something also that's very unique to this particular tool. So Darius,
yeah.
back to your slides so you can continue.
Sure. So that's the free plan. Some other features that we will talk about later as well. And then you have the $9 monthly plan, which includes those reminder emails, the autoresponders, and also some follow-up emails, which are sometimes less common, but they are very handy in order to automatically send out a thank you email for those who participated with some links in there so that you take them through other actions, or what we call we missed you emails, where you send those emails to those who registered and didn't show up for other action items. And then other plans for $9 a month with customizable 3D environments and some sort of private recording, more private recording than what you have right now.
Very important factor right there. That private recording thing is a game changer also. So we've got multiple levels of game changers. Let me explain briefly, and I'll put back Darius' slide here for a second. When he talks about private recording for this $49 a month thing, that means when you're starting your Hangout on air, it can be limited as to who sees it. It's no longer necessarily a totally public broadcast. This is massively important to just bring it to your attention.
We had a client. We're in Kansas City, but we had a client that approached us very recently in St. Louis, Missouri, which is 3 hours down the road, and they have people in St. Louis and Kansas City. It's a nonprofit, and they really just didn't want their video to be on YouTube. It was a private event. It was for people that were in that, and so they wanted it recorded, but so that other people in the organization could watch it later, but they did not want it out there to the public, and they felt like YouTube, yeah, you could make it private later, but it goes out publicly as it's happening, and people can happen upon it, and that just wasn't acceptable to them. So this really does make it so that we can reach out to people that we couldn't before.
It's a hybrid, so realize this is Google's tool. So the base is Google's tool, the Hangout. The Business Hangouts on top of it allows you to do some special things with it. So it's one of those that allows some special adjustments that you need to do. It's not automatic. You have to go and actually click a couple buttons and say, I don't want this one public, because by default it's going to be public.
Yes, I mean, I agreed totally on the fact that it is YouTube. So, Josh, that is not changed. We haven't changed that. We're still using YouTube for that. But
okay.
The tool, when you create a private one, it creates the YouTube as of the beginning as an unlisted YouTube.
Right.
So if you have subscribers, for instance, they will not be mass mailed saying that there is a new YouTube there. But it has its own limitations, which you know, of having an unlisted video.
Now, I'll explain why it's unlisted, primarily because you need to be able to let the LinkedIn people and the Facebook people actually see it. If you made it private, they would have to log in with a Google account, in essence, to be able to see it. So that's why it's unlisted, which has its advantages, but there's a disadvantage in one sense that it's not truly private. Just full disclaimer kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right, but you're less likely to have someone happen upon it.
Oh, this is much more private than public.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Wonderful.
So Darius, back to your deal.
Yeah. If you screenshots about the event, how it looks like. So here we are a few of us. This event here, I think there were 35 people in. So you see the list of the viewers with the scrolling here when they are a larger number. You can click on their names and their social media profile with which they entered the virtual happening will show. So it favors networking. You can add them, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, and a neutral, what we call business hangout sign-in, which is none of those. They just giving their name and email, and as far as they are registered, they come in. And if you have decided them to make an obligation of being registered.
And Darius, there's an important point. This is a quickly modifying platform. In other words, Darius is making modifications rapidly, and therefore this screenshot's already old. Okay, and so what that means is there's an important thing that is visible now that is not on the screenshot is just where his mouse is pointing. You will have an icon that either shows a Google Plus, a LinkedIn, or a Facebook, or a Business Hangouts logo, so that you'll know which network these particular people are coming from. And that's important to know because if you're trying to bring someone into what's on the bottom, that film strip area, they have to be in from Google Plus. But they can still participate on the far right side, this unified chat. But it's a good idea for you to know which network they're actually logged in from. And that's now visible, but the screenshot doesn't show that it's visible.
Right, absolutely. Another feature here is this is the envelope here. It's an invitation envelope. If someone here raises hands, or if you as a host or a moderator want to promote someone from the viewer into the panel and have them as a participant, you can do it on the fly as long as they are connected with a Google Plus account. We had our office hours this morning, a very practical way to bring in people without preparing this in advance.
Right, so someone would register for the session. They're automatically on the very far right side, so they're in that chat area that you're about to talk about. And if we feel it's appropriate and they're part of Google Plus, we can then elevate them, in essence, into the film strip video part. So they get pulled away from just the chat and get added into the visuals of the show.
Makes sense, cool. Josh and Tom?
Well,
yeah,
I had one question.
Right along.
I had one question about that. So if they do not have a Google Plus account, will they have a little envelope? A little envelope icon if they have no Google Plus account?
No, they don't have an envelope because you can't invite them, as far as I understand. Is that right, Darius?
It's a very good question. I think they still have it because they may have logged in with a Facebook and they will use their Google Plus account. I don't recall. It's a good question. I don't recall having seen any situation where I can actually check it in a minute after this presentation and give that answer fully by then.
Great.
But I think it is still possible. It will pop up on their screen that you're invited to go in, and when they try to come in, they need to sign in with Google Plus. So if they do have an account, it should be possible.
Right, that makes sense.
Sorry, I didn't realize that. Good correction for me.
Yeah, I think so.
At least you think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yes. Did you have a question, Josh, before we move on?
No, you know what? I think I'm tracking right along. Just continue on.
Okay, wonderful.
And please understand, this is constantly evolving, and this is a great place to help these guys and make it even better. Darius has been very kind in allowing me to give him feedback from a perspective of a person that does Hangouts a lot, to make sure that the tool helps and works with what we're used to using, and he's done a phenomenal job of taking requests that I've given him and turning them into actionable items. Really, really cool.
That's great. Thanks, Darius. This is awesome.
That's very cool.
Thank you, and thanks to Ronnie. Some of these features would have not been there if Ronnie didn't point them out to us. So.
Oh, shucks. Okay,
Go, Ronnie. Woo.
All right. So the chat. One thing very practical, especially in the corporate or enterprise environments, the moderated chat. When you have a large number and you don't want the presenter or the host being kind of bothered by some comments or so on, or for any other reasons, sometimes in politics or other contexts, you may want to moderate the chat and only decide to show what is going on after approval. So I can do it right now quickly here. The chat is now moderated, and whoever types anything, and Ronnie being himself a moderator.
I'm allowed in because okay.
You are a moderator. But how about Tom? If you want to type in something, everything we're talking about right now, our viewers on the recording won't see it, so let's not spend too much time on it.
But basically, you're able to, not in the chat where someone just mentioned it, but in the actual group chat that's part of the Hangout, Business Hangouts thing, there's another chat, okay? That's, when you try to add something in there, you should be told this is awaiting moderation.
Very good point. I see that there are there's a comment on the Hangout chat.
Right. So I can go see who did that.
Okay. Tom.
That was Tom. Yeah.
Here we go. Got it. And I see that it's written got it, but it's in gray, and others, except for moderators, won't see it. And one of the moderators, Ronnie, may want to approve or discard, or.
I will approve it right now. I'm hitting approve.
Okay. There you go. So it's approved, and it shows to everyone. So it's practical. It also, on the upper right corner, you can export the chat history. You see that 2 pages, one on the other. I can click on it, and it creates a new tab, and you have a full HTML clickable chat that you can paste into whatever, an event page or a website, and below the video.
That's a bonus because the normal Hangout tool does not allow us to pull out the comments that are going on in our chat, so that once we close the window, it's gone. This one allows us to actually export it. So we
can not only that, but if there's technical difficulties and you get kicked out of an event for a moment, say like there's a hiccup, when you come back, you don't see any of those previous comments that may have been made. They're just gone for you.
That has legal implications, and that is the same model that is currently employed here. But if someone was there the whole time, then they'd be able to share that with you.
But we can also export them, so if somebody does come in later and they say, "Hey, I just want to see what's going on," we could even just email that to them.
Correct.
Exactly.
So.
Okay, back to the slide. For moderators here like Ronnie and Josh, you can play with this gearbox you have in front of the participants, and even on each participant, and discover a few more features for muting someone, the mic or the cam, either for yourself or globally, and that little question mark gives the explanation for each of them, how it works. You can also amplify someone if you think that their audio is not strong enough. You can also change this global setting from presentation to collaboration, muting everyone. Film strip auto, so Google decides according to the rules of number of participants to send this into the HOA, into the recording, or decide to not to send the film strip into the recording if you like to. So some more features for controlling your event.
Now, would you still be able to use the cameraman with this, or do you find that it's not necessary?
I personally don't see anything that you do with cameraman that you can't do that. I'm sure Ronnie knows more and finds something there, but
it would depend on your level of understanding of the cameraman. There are some certain things the cameraman lets you do that could be beneficial, but for the average user, I would say this eliminates the need for cameraman.
All right, and that's kind of what I was seeing, but I was just I was curious.
I mean, there's some fancier stuff, but we could do that and discuss that.
Yeah. That's topic for another day.
Yeah.
This screen is showing you how the viewers see. So this is what a Facebooker or a LinkedIner who connects sees, which is quite rich compared to a simple YouTube feed and just commenting. You can chat here, you can connect with others clicking on their names and add them, networking. You can embed this on your own website. This is a pure HTML page with the embed code given to you, so you can post this on your website. And the hand raise and unified chat available here.
That embedding feature, which they just brought out with authorship and posts, that's huge, because that's going to be incorporating into WordPress and other social networks, and it's just huge. That's really cool.
Right. We have it actually on our own website for the registration permanently, and I know someone who has started using this for a help desk, a permanent Hangout space. And you have also the Bell email feature, which is a notification email, so that if you put it permanently on your website, you receive an email saying someone is in. Go greet him.
Wow, that's really interesting.
A lot of really, really good stuff here.
Yeah.
Okay. Into the event, I'm not going to get into the details of this one. There is a great video done by Ronnie introducing the planner, how to start using it, which shows these 4 steps wizard of creating an event. I'm going to go through this maybe very quickly as we have them. A first step, date and time, recurring meeting or not, time zones, putting a password or a moderator, then defining the emails content. When someone registers, is the email going to be sent automatically, or you want to validate them one by one?
Yeah, let me explain what that means, because I think that's just needs a little explanation. When you are creating first off, when you create a Hangout on Air, generally you just sort of start it and go. This is different in essence, where we start this process through a registration method. We build a registration tool that then sends out stuff to people and they register. Based on the settings that Darius is pointing out right now, you will adjust what they see or what they don't see. And one of the things that you can do is when they register, you can have it just automatically accept them. And that's what he was talking about. Or you can let them register, and then you as the presenter or the host can decide, yes, I want to let them in, or no, I don't want to let them in to the thing that they've just registered for. So that's what's going on with what he's talking about right there.
Thank you. And then the templates of the emails. You can fully custom and fully rebrand them. You create your invitation email and copy paste it inside the tool. We also provide some different languages as a starting point for international invitations. Then we have the automatic reminders and the follow-up emails that I mentioned earlier that you set up here. And here's an example of those emails, how you would set up. Of course, you have the preview and edit as the HTML copy-paste we mentioned, but also you can define when you send them. You can send them manually or define an absolute date or a relative date compared to, relative to the time when the meeting ends. So, for instance, if you put 0 like this, an email is sent automatically to thank whoever effectively participated, or this one sent to whoever registered and didn't show up. A sample.
It's a robust registration response email communication system.
Here's a sample email. The registration step. This is important. Here's where you define who and how they can get into your meeting. So, for instance, if you don't want anyone to log in from other networks than Google+, you can uncheck these here. Or you can decide what information you want to collect from your participants. First name, last name, email is mandatory, but you may want to collect address, company name, phone, industry, other stuff. And here's the embed code. If you want to embed the registration into your website with some background color, text color, so that it looks, it matches your website style, and also an image URL where you create a branding of your event, if you like to. And then the iframe embed, you just copy paste it into your registration page.
Now, I can see that being helpful as far as making sure that people don't come in from Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that if you're going to have everybody be a participant. And so you don't want anybody that you've invited to, maybe you're just inviting 10 people and it's like, hey, I want to make sure that everybody's a participant, so they have to be on Google+.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that's a great option, but you don't want to do it too much because one of the best parts of the tool is the ability to let people from other places come and participate.
Right.
But having it as an option is really nice.
Right. You have the same thing, and it's under the below here for the login page. You notice that there is the registration, and then, for instance, if you registered yesterday and you logged in right now, you went into a 2 steps or 3 steps login as well when it recognized your who you are, thanks to Ronnie here, and then you clicked in and logged in. That one, same thing. You can embed it on your website with your own branding. And finally, the last step in this wizard, 4 steps wizard, is a tab called Manage, where you give some attributes to this event. For instance, if you are setting up as a Hangout on air, and if you're setting up as a private one so that it gets unlisted under YouTube. You have also a tool which is still getting some changes there, where you can import a list of ticket buyers. This is very useful when you sell your webinar and you sell those tickets on an external system like Eventbrite, and you import the list of attendees into here so that they are authorized to walk in.
So we're talking, major concerts, presidential rallies, whatever, and they can all be ticketed. This is huge. This is wonderful.
Yeah, or simply you are an expert in your domain and you are running a webinar with just 100 people and you are selling it for $50 for the 1-hour training.
So I have a question about that too. If you're doing the private recording, does it opt you into the HOA automatically? Because again, the way we're accomplishing this is we're still doing a Hangout on Air. It's just making the link to it.
When you say into the HOA, it's not. It's going to bring you into this Hangout interface, where if you're
Right.
a viewer, you see one thing. If you're a participant, you see slightly different. But yes, it brings you into this place where you can be in the unified chat on the side.
Well, I guess I'm talking about specifically if I'm building this, and let me go back to the to Darius's screen real quick. If I've got this demo here, record a Hangout on Air or private recording. If I say yes to private recording, does that just automatically say yes to a Hangout on Air?
Yes, the private
Okay.
recording is not possible unless it's a Hangout on Air. There is
Okay.
no recording function unless it's a Hangout on Air, because YouTube's actually doing the recording for you.
Right. Okay. That just wanted to make a clarification there.
You bet.
Okay, then the other thing, very important, of course, is registration link. This is what, when I set up this meeting, I shared with you, Josh, and you shared with your community. You have also the possibility to put it recurring. You remember in the first tab, date and time, we had recurring meetings possible. If that's the case, and you use this link, and then a list of dates appear so that you know for which one you are registering or interested in. And by the way, you can also, in the recurring one, you can decide if you register once for all or register individually. So if it is, for instance, a meeting with the same group you are having regularly, you may want to have them register once for all and receive reminders every, for instance, if it is a weekly, the day before, and so on. The meeting link, this is when your meeting registration is not mandatory and you have a non-personal or non-individual or generic link for everyone. That is for more public events, and you may want to publish this one for a non-private event. And finally, the validated attendees list means, for instance, for this meeting, I am the host. I created from my account, but you may be interested, Josh and Ronnie, who were informed before and are moderators, to know day by day who has registered. Where do we stand for filling up this event? And that link allows you to see that at any time by yourself without being in my account.
So Darius, a quick question. Maybe you just answered it right there, but because you've made me a moderator for this particular event, does that mean I have access to that same link through the plan Hangouts current or past Hangout thing?
No,
or is it only
actually,
you?
technically it's disconnected from the moderator's status. So it's whoever I shared this with. I mentioned the moderator because to show the application of it. When you run larger events, there are usually sponsors, partners, other people involved.
So then the host has this access and they can share
Yes.
it with whom they like.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Manage attendees allows you to promote or pre-elevate people to panelists, to participants status as of the beginning, rather than waiting to start the meeting and then elevate them with an invitation from viewer to participant.
That's actually very valuable. Let's say you know that Ronnie and Josh are going to be here, but we haven't come in yet. You can pre-select us to be at different levels so that we're in the film strip, so when we first show up, bam, we're right there in the film strip instead of on the group chat list. Is that right?
And that's exactly what I did for this meeting.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. That's it. So these are the steps for setting up a Hangout, and that Hangout goes into your scheduled Hangouts, to which you have access from the Hangouts button on the left-hand side on the screen that you're seeing right now. Now, once the Hangout is over, it moves to past Hangouts, and it gets sorted by date by month, sorry, and for each of them you have access to 4 links actually here. The list of registered, those who were validated in case you were validating them manually, not automatically, the list of those who were present, and the list of those who registered but didn't show up. So you can still send them manually on an on-demand basis information, or just import the list into some other systems or whatever treatment you want to do with them.
So in and of itself, the registration area has actually got a lot of stuff. So that in and of itself is something you probably want to focus some time on. But the use of the tool in its most basic sense is we're meeting in an environment that's using a Google Plus Hangout or Hangout on Air. On top of it, we've got this Business Hangout interface that allows non-Google Plus people to be here with us in the chat. They can all be including, you know, part of the conversation. And a key point, I already said this earlier, but just to remind you, the people that are in the film strip are part of the chat as well as the people outside. So it's not just chatting within the show, but it's chatting from everybody that's all together. So that's why it's called the unified chat. And that in and of itself right there is a rather awesome addition to what Hangouts do.
Thank you, Ronnie, for the precision. Next slide is about something which is very interesting as an additional feature, is the permanent links I mentioned earlier. And the uses here are really multiple. One of them is on the website as an embedded embed code on a web page, a permanent space for your visitors to come in and either chat together, create a community, live interaction with them, or we mentioned help desk features, and so on. So that's where you get your embed code for your permanent virtual room. So that's the definition. It's a layer on top of Hangouts. Hangouts doesn't really offer a virtual room. It's created when you start a Hangout. That virtual room by Hangout is created when you start a Hangout, and it's not a persistent. Here you have not only a persistent room, but you can have many persistent rooms. So you can set up different virtual rooms, one for your website, a certain page, another one for your daily gatherings with your team, another one for your weekly gatherings with your customers, and so on.
I have a question here, Darius.
Sure.
Can these virtual rooms be custom designed? Can they be custom designed using, you know, like for instance, Google's 3D tool or other industry standard 3D stuff? How are you guys doing that? Do you have preset rooms that are just kind of populated with JPEGs, or how do you do it?
So you're talking about the 3D view that we saw earlier?
Oh yeah, you were saying virtual rooms, and I went immediately to 3D. Yes.
Okay. Well, yes. The 3D is a view, a way to view the virtual room, but you are not obliged to look at it only at the 3D aspect. That virtual room, as I was giving examples, like it could be your help desk room, and you don't care about the 3D aspects of it. It could be your weekly gathering room. The point is that they have one fixed URL to connect in. No registration required. No meeting setup. It's just a permanent room for you to go there. Now, the answer to your question is still yes. You can create your 3D model in 3ds Max, SketchUp, Maya, whatever 3D tool you want. You export with 3ds format or Collada format. Now we're talking 3D a little bit. I feel that you know that. So and then import them into your environment, and that's the customizable 3D thing.
That's great.
Okay, so this begs a question from me, and that is, in this room, is it a hangout like what we're doing right now, meaning our cameras are, is it a hangout like that, or is it a hangout in that you've got just a like the new Hangouts are just typing back and forth to people.
No, it's a Hangout. Actually, it's a permanent room with a permanent URL which starts with business-hangouts.com something. But when you get in, if no one has been before, then it starts a Hangout for you right there. But you don't care about its URL.
So it's not necessarily doing a, we'll call it a perpetual Hangout. It's just that if there's someone that's clicked on that,
yes,
it starts a new Hangout, and then it alerts someone on the other end that, hey, somebody's in here. Let's say it is the organizer. It alerts them that they have somebody in the Hangout and that they need to join that Hangout.
Exactly.
What's the lag time on that?
Everything is instantaneous, but depends on your email client, depends on the internet speed, I would say.
Right.
We are using Amazon EC2 infrastructure for email sending, and it's fabulous. I mean, it's really instantaneous. But again, sometimes emails are slow, but it's one case out of 1,000.
Right. Okay. I'm just wondering if maybe an SMS sometimes might be another way to alert someone.
Yeah.
Or just, I mean, staying within the infrastructure of it, my actual Hangout itself. So it sends me a message to my Hangout, and the reason I say that is because I have Hangouts on my iPad, my phone, and my computer, and my wife's computer, for all that's worth, if I'm logged into her computer under my user. So like that follows me around everywhere,
right.
As does my phone. My cell phone goes everywhere with me. I'm very rarely, unless I'm playing soccer, my phone's not further than 2 feet away from me.
But would you go on a video call, Hangout video call from your mobile when you're out there?
I don't know that I would necessarily do that, but it would give me the opportunity to let's say one of my other team members is at a better, he's at an advantage to be able to go ahead and get on that.
Right.
I could immediately, again, if I get an SMS or a Hangout, I can just shoot, hey, you know what, I know Kyle's in the office. I'm going to shoot Kyle a Hangout. I'm going to shoot him this link and say, hey, there's somebody on the Hangout right now for support. I need you to go on there and handle that. So
I agree. We actually just 2 days ago, someone else also very experienced Hangouter asked us the same thing. So I guess we have to do it. Great. So this slide is about for those who are familiar with Hangouts, where you have experienced this, some of these features are feasible somehow in the Google Hangouts ecosystem, but they are hard to access and they are hard to use because of this segmentation and different products and different environments. You set up the event in your calendar. You use reminder from your calendars. You set up an event and people go and comment there, and then you have the YouTube video and people go and comment there, and you have to set up circles in order to invite them immediately right before the meeting. So you need to be a little bit sportive, if I would say, in order to do all that before the event or during the event and so on. Not everyone is as sportive as Ronnie, so this is built for an easier way, a more scheduled way, more prepared way, so that the host walks in less stressed.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I've got to say that I do a Hangout every week, and this can save me just a ton of headache because was actually considering hiring a virtual assistant or something like that to help me out with some of these things, and I can foresee using this instead. And
I sell services for that.
well,
anyways, go ahead.
the Hangout helper will have to wait. I'll just use Hangouts for Business instead.
Yeah, Business Hangouts.
Um, one thing here also, there is the new Q&A app or module, I would say. App? No, it's an app.
It's a Q&A app. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an app which adds yet another round here. It's a very powerful tool for a certain purpose, but still needs to be mastered, to be known, and to get there, and it has some overlap with other features, yet another area to put comments. So that's the whole picture. We have tried to have it all in one app for better use.
Well, and I'll even comment to that. I do believe, and Ronnie, maybe you can confirm this, with those Q&As, they have to be public, do they not?
That's an interesting question.
I've never seen one that wasn't public.
Well, it's only been out a week or so.
Yeah.
You can have a private event that publishes the Q&A app within that private event, but the Hangout on Air itself is public. And I have a thing called Hangout Mastery right there.
Yeah,
we're gonna be testing any and all angles, including a combination of Business Hangouts and the Q&A app. So, but the point of his slide was to try to say this makes it easier. I tend to push things to see what we can do, and then see what we take it from. But his point, I believe, which hopefully is being understood, is that this tool, the Business Hangouts tool, lets you bring a lot of the functionality into one place. It's a lot easier.
Well,
Brilliant convergence, Darius.
Yeah, Ronnie, you play out on the edges, whereas I think a lot of business people like to play it safe and play.
What's known, sure.
Yeah. So,
I poke things. I try to figure out what's the best way to make it work overall, and then we make a basic best practices, and then we adopt it.
I know that Tom and I are the same way. We like to poke things and see if we can break them. So.
Right. One thing I would like to add is that I'm a member of the Hangout Mastery, and it's a very rich environment because of the experience of the group, where even us as a technology provider are pushed to our limits, because once you get there, you become more productive. You produce better events, but you will ask for more. So we are making altogether a progress there with a more advanced tool, but still asking for more. So it's the job never ends. I would say.
I'm heading to Hangout Helper now to find out more about it.
Yeah, thank you for the little plug there. You can see down there is where you can go to find it. Okay. So moving back to your presentation, please.
Okay. So as a recap for Hangouters, full feature registration module, event planner, scheduling things in advance, less sportive, more prepared, more scheduled. Emailing, automatic emails. Emails may be considered as old, but they are platform agnostic. So you have Facebook guys, you have LinkedIn guys, you have more generic environment. So this is neutral and more business oriented. Letting non-plussers to attend your meetings, as we discussed.
Non-plussers. I'm nonplussed.
Adding some privacy to your business meetings. Not everything needs to be shared with everyone. The unified and moderated chat is really, really a plus. It makes the viewers now part of the conversation. We had a Hangout office hours this morning. It was a real exchange. They were asking their questions. We had someone from LinkedIn this morning ask their questions, answering, and if appropriate, bringing them in instantly. That's the giving the mic. So that's about it. Satisfaction guaranteed. For the first two plans, which have full feature, if you register, you pay, you're not fully satisfied, just ask for a refund. No question asked, refunded. .edu and non-profits have also special deals. So that's it.
Very cool. So Altadyne, tell us a little bit about Altadyne. Is it a huge corporation, or how long have you guys been active?
Yeah, we are small. We're in business since 11 years. The 3D platform was first introduced in 2009 and adapted to the virtual event market since 2 years. So the customers that you have seen there, larger customers and so on, are on our 3D platform, and some of them have already started using the Business Hangouts, which is very new.
Very cool. Very cool.
Let me just show quickly, because in order for this is the 3D we were talking about, to send it into the feed for our recorded viewers.
All right, just for fun, is this live? This is one of the live ones, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'm going to raise my hand in the chat area. Watch what happens here.
Yeah, the raise hand is the upper right corner on the chat, and here's Ronnie. So nice. He is attracting the attention, and Josh as well. So the host and moderators needs to look at them. And you know, as people come in and go out, the rooms gets filled in, and you know, you see some motion, female, male avatars, and we're going to develop that as well with more fancy things coming in, and providing more ready-made templates. But also, as we mentioned, you can import your own 3D model.
The question about this, I'm sorry, about that room. That room looks to be about 500 seats, is it, or 1,000?
This one is close to 1,000.
Okay. And then, wow, so that's 1,000. Do we have the ability to pan back and forth, or how will you watch? You see the raised hand in various ways, right?
Right. Those are among the features that will come later. We have try to make it really simple. So the design environment is a full 3D. Right now we are snapshotting and mixing this with the API possibilities from Hangout. We are progressively bringing in our own code into
oh, that's amazing. So what you're saying is that your 3D engine is outside of Google's current API, yes. But you're going to integrate them.
Yes. The authoring tool is outside, so that's where you bring in the import. Of course, Google has no knowledge of Collada and things I was mentioning in 3D, and we have bridged this somehow with what you're seeing right now, and we'll go further. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Wow.
But you also have a neat feature, which, you know, there you go, the map. You can show where the participants that are currently on this particular call are located.
Oh, neat.
Assuming the participants give permission, right? It's not going to be spying on them, but when you first enter in, you're asked, do you want to show your position? And you say yes. Now you can see a little marker on the map.
Yeah, and it asked me, I don't know why it's not showing me right now, but the P would be the participant, the V would be the viewer, correct?
Exactly, yes. Okay. Maybe a refresh. I don't recommend you do it right now because you will reconnect, but maybe it requires a refresh. Maybe something wasn't accepted, but yeah, it's supposed to work.
So actually, let me give one more. We just talked about this morning. And I believe you're going to be rolling it out soon, so I'm going to say it, but then I'm also going to say let's wrap this up if we can, because we've already gone a little bit longer.
Yes.
An hour. The item that I'm going to try, see if I can do this. Actually, can I? How do you isolate that graphic? Can you? I don't think it's one of the options to isolate. The thing that right now says Business Hangouts that the people on the inside see that's being recorded don't see. There's a graphic there, a white thing.
Right. That doesn't go to the recording, correct.
Okay, so for the participants that are registered, that are watching from the inside, they see an item. Can I do that? Let me give it a shot.
But the viewers can by themselves click on the quadrangle as well, but not on the YouTube.
Okay, so but what you see here that I'm pointing at, this item that says Beta and Business Hangouts, this is modifiable. This is incredibly important for those of us that are wanting to do this for commercial ventures. This can show advertisers' messages. So if you have somebody sponsoring your show or your activity, their graphics can be right here. And I even discovered this morning that this can be an animated GIF, which means you could have, for example, 4 sponsors, and you could have one show for 2 minutes and another one show for the next 2 minutes and another show for the next 2 minutes if you can modify your GIFs that way, so you can cycle through things.
That's cool.
So it's a pretty intense and wonderful option, okay, in my opinion. So
Yeah,
Darius,
very cool.
Great job on that.
Thank you. Any other comment or question before I press on the end broadcast?
You know what, like Ronnie said, I think we need to kind of wrap this up. But I would like to thank you for coming on today, and Ronnie both, and also Tom. And I'm sure that as time goes on, you'll continue to develop this into a great application. Actually, it already is a great application, but even better than what we even considered. So, great job with this, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you,
Pleasure.
Tom.